course, here we are at the end of this month. It is not only Pride Month, but it's also Black Music Month. So we want to get into a little bit about your music and some of the things that you've done. And I have to first say, I have to give you a compliment. I love your voice. That tenor section that I was like, okay, he's doing it. He's eating.
Thank you.
And then, of course, also my first introduction to you was actually years ago on The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yes.
And when they mentioned I was going to interview, I was like, hold on, you mean from Real Housewives of Atlanta? So I have known who you are for a while, and I've been following you, and you are doing some really great, great, great things.
Thank you. Thank you. I love that. It's really wild to think, because I've been on Housewives off and on since Candy's first season. So
Yes.
to think that like a show that's been on the air for 15 seasons, I'm a part of that story, that history, that pop culture phenomenon. It's really, really cool. And to be doing it with somebody like Candy, who has always been a possibility model for me since I was a kid. It's been a rewarding experience, but I'm really happy to be, diving more into my work, into my music now, and finding my space on the stage.
Well, yeah. So, like you said, you do music, but you also dance. You do a lot. So, what made you want to get into entertainment?
Yeah, well, both of my parents met in choir in college.
Oh,
They both grew up singing. My mom was on a choral scholarship there. My dad was in like a singing group in high school. His mom was a gospel singer in Atlanta. My mother's dad was in a singing group in the 60s. And so I was always surrounded by music. And being surrounded by music, for me, it felt like the logical thing to do would be to work in it. It's like, why go out and learn something else when this is something that I not only love, I have a natural ability for. And the more I learned, the more I trained in school, the more I found like different facets of, my baritone voice, my hip hop dancing, my affinity for women in heels and Fosse and like all those things. And so I don't think there was ever a world where in my mind I wouldn't be working in entertainment.
wow, that is so cool. So, when it's time for you to get into that creative space, whether you're doing music, whatever it is that you're doing, what does that look like? What is that process like for you?
It looks like a lot of friends. Whether I the name of my EP, as you can see here, it says The Muse Effect. That was the name of my cabaret show that I premiered in January. But I surround myself with muses. I surround myself with inspiration. Most of them are Black queer folks or Black women who I've worked with throughout my 20-year tenure in the entertainment industry. So sometimes it's having some musicians come over to the house. Sometimes it's having some dancers meet me at the studio. Sometimes it's just having some friends come over for, some light bites and champagne. But I like to create work, whether it's music, whether it's choreography, whether it's curating events. I like to create moments that people can see themselves in. And I feel like the best way to do that is to involve other people in the process.
All right, so let's change gears just a smidget. But like we said earlier, it is Black Music Month, of course.
Yes.
So when you think of Black music, what
Mm.
comes to your mind?
Uh, Shaka Khan, Earth, Wind, and Fire, um, Hezekiah Walker, Yolanda Adams. I think of just I think of a very rich tapestry of sound, of sound, of spirit, of celebration. And I feel like we as Black music artists have had such a very nuanced experience in this country and throughout the diaspora that when we are talking about love, when we are talking about pain, when we are talking about joy, and when we are talking about life experiences, there's just this higher and deeper moment. The branches of the tree reach higher, the roots reach deeper, and you feel everything. And I think that is something that's undeniable about the tapestry of Black music. You feel everything, and it's that feeling that I feel like truly sets us apart.
And even when you think about like all of our intersectional identities, but
Yeah.
you share the one of Black and queer.
Yeah.
When those
Yeah.
two come together, what is that like?
I mean, it's Sylvester, it's Billy Porter, it's Sierra Shawn and Jessica Betts. It's Never Ending Nina. It's an explosion, really, of uniqueness combining and expanding. It's expansive. It is expression beyond the binary. And I think that is where the true success lies for us. It is saying, oh, I may not have been necessarily welcomed in certain spaces, but I can use the gifts of my Blackness and my queerness to create my own spaces. I recently had the opportunity to be the creative director for Moby Fest, which is an annual Black queer music festival. And in working with those artists, I was like, I'm so excited that not only this space exists, but I'm excited that each of the artists gets to see that they can stand on stage in their full authenticity and still attract the applause that they've dreamt about for years. That authenticity doesn't have to cheat them out of true fulfillment. So I think Blackness and queerness existing in a musical landscape right now is truly just taking off all barriers and boundaries and allowing authenticity to fly free.
All right, so are you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Yes, let's get it
All right,
going.
I'm gonna ask you a few.
Mhm.
So just kind of just ride with this, okay?
Okay, okay.
So we're gonna start off with probably maybe a difficult one.
Okay.
All right, your favorite Real Housewives song?
Uh, my favorite Real Housewives song is a song from Candy's Candy Coated album. It's called Me and You.
Okay.
I love that song so much. I have loved it since it came out, and I worked on the tour that year. She went on tour with Fantasia when
Mm.
that album came out, and I just loved it. Worked out like this beautiful like vocal arrangement with the background singers that we had, and I'll never forget. Mama Joyce came to rehearsal, and she was like, "Oh, these singers should have been singing background on the album. They sound good." And so that is
Leave it
that.
for Mama Joyce to be very honest.
You know what I mean? And whenever
Yes.
that honesty favors me, I take it.
Mhm.
So yeah, Me and You, and it's a tie with another unreleased song that Candy has not put out called Only for You.
Okay.
Um, she's teased it here and there in the Queens of R&B. She teased it, but I loved it. We used it for a Valentine's Day campaign in, I want to say, 2022, and it's everything. So
Okay.
hit her up on Twitter and tell her to release the song.
I'll be like, Victor Jackson told me to tell you this. All right, so are you ready to fly through the rest of these?
All right, let's hit it.
Quick responses. All right, you
Okay.
ready? First one. Name an artist or a producer that you want to work with.
Janelle Monáe,
Name a competition show that you would love to work on.
RuPaul's Drag Race,
All right, how about a song that you want to cover?
Private Dancer by Tina Turner,
Ooh, good one. Okay, your favorite performance so far?
Harlem Pride this last weekend.
Okay, and something that you feel is missing from the entertainment industry?
Mental health services.
All right. So to wrap it all up, tell us where people can check out your work and if there's any upcoming performances that we should be checking out.
Yeah, you can follow me everywhere at Mr. Glamrock Soul. My website is mrglamrocksoul.com. So you can check out my music there, my music videos there, and see what's coming up. Like I said, I'm performing for Pride Night with the Atlanta Dream tomorrow night, but you can catch me in Chicago on July 31st. I'll be celebrating my birthday and
Oh,
opening
happy
for
birthday.
Candace Dillard Bassett from the Real Housewives of Potomac. So
Yes.
meet me in Chicago.
I love Candace's song. What is it? Drive Back?
Got that?
You should see me. I'm like, drive back, drive back.
Yes, yes.
Love it,
Shout
love
out
it,
to
love it,
Candace
love it.
and her incredible team, her choreographer EJ, just a lot of amazing people. So I'm excited to be back on the road with them.
Cool. Ooh, I do have to ask though, before we really wrap up. I
Okay.
know we talked about Housewives a lot, but since I got you, okay, we're gonna keep talking about it.
Yes.
What would be your tagline?
Um. uh, what would be my tagline? You know, I've never I've never really thought about that before. I don't have anything clever. I don't know. I feel like I exist in that space in the way that I'm meant to. And, I, and, so, and so I've never really opened my mind to more.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever it would be for the culture, it would be for the kids.